All right, welcome back. It's time to do a May roundup. Like what new records were added to the collection in May. So I feel like I was more restrained in May, and yet there's still a fair amount of records, but it does have a lot to do with the fact that it was my birthday. So some of these records came for my birthday. And again, as always, there's some that were pre-orders from a while ago. But I'm excited to share what I got with you. And I do feel like I'm going to be kind of like slowing down a little because I've got so much of the like back order of like albums that I really wanted at this point that mainly it's going to be new stuff and then here and there. There's some spots I'm trying to fill in the collection a little bit. You'll see some of that in here today. I do feel like I could use more country, maybe more jazz, more hip hop to kind of fill in. I've got a lot, obviously, of rock and roll and kind of a folky singer songwriter, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so there's gonna be some stuff that I need to fill in those areas, but a lot of areas I'm feeling pretty good about. So let's get started. The first one is a band called Half Past Two, which is a fantastic ska band out of California. This is their brand new album. This is Killing Me, their first album on Bad Time Records. And on this album, they're going to tour in Texas for the first time. So I'm super excited. I've had Tara on the podcast a couple of times. She's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing them live on June 19th, which is not that far out. So got This is Killing Me, and I got this beautiful, beautiful pressing. I love this pressing, guys. The color on this. If I can even, what is, if my fingers will work, my hands will work. Nothing's working. Nothing's working. Wait, I almost got it. There we go. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Such a beautiful thing. And this album is so much different than their previous albums. It's a lot more on the serious, kind of emotional side, a little less bubbly and perky, but it's got a vibe. It's got definitely great hooks that'll keep you interested. Really beautiful album. I talked to Tara about this album on the podcast, so if you haven't heard it, go and listen. But Half Past Two, This is Killing Me, really amazing album. And then my wife went to a store that had like some vinyl on clearance, and she kind of told me all the stuff that was there. And I was like, I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. And then there was this, and I was like, okay, I need that one. So I did not yet have a copy of A Love Supreme by John Coltrane, and this one is this beautiful kind of blue vinyl. This is a classic. Everybody needs this album when it comes to jazz. If you don't have this album, if you like jazz, you've got to fix it. Fantastic album. So then we went to a live concert, which I was very excited about. Someone that's one of my favorite artists, I've followed for quite some time, has genuinely had a huge impact on my life. Starting in like 2000, maybe 2004, 2005, somewhere in there is when I really started listening. But I've never seen him live, even though he's come a bunch of times, and there's not really a good excuse for that. I just haven't. This time when he was touring, he was doing something really different. He was actually touring, playing music from a band that he was a part of a long time ago before he was a solo artist. And though I was aware of this band and knew a couple songs and liked a couple songs, I wasn't like a huge fan of this band. So it was cool to get exposed to that music by this artist. So I was excited to check that out. So I'm talking about Derek Webb, but this is his music with Caedmon's Call. So they re-released their self-titled album. It's a very heavy double LP, and this is a fantastic album. It really is. So I was really pleased to see him perform that music. Of course, I pick up this album, and literally, like on the way out to the parking lot, my wife's handing it to me, and there's sort of a miscommunication, and it got dropped. And I was like, "Oh no, is it broken?" But it's fine. It's fine. So I'm happy with that. And then I bought my mom an album for Mother's Day, but I was like, you know what? I need this album too. The album that I bought, definitely one I've listened to a lot over the years, is Jimmy Buffett's Songs You Know by Heart. So this is like a greatest hits album, but it came out in like the 70s. It's a single LP. Every single song on here is phenomenal. So, I mean, we're talking the classics here. We've got Cheeseburger in Paradise, He Went to Paris, Fins, Son of a Sailor, A Pirate Looks at 40, Margaritaville, Come Monday, Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude, Why Don't We Get Drunk, Pencil Thin Mustache, Grapefruit, Juicy Fruit, Boat Drinks, and Volcano. And so every song on here, really a classic that everybody should have. There's a lot of great Jimmy Buffett albums, but this is, you know, the greatest hits. So it's a great one to have. And I've already listened to it, love it. So then I asked for one album for my birthday, and I got it, which was great. So this is a newer artist. She's only got two full-length LPs out. The first one was marketed much more to a Christian artist. The second, a Christian fan base. The second one much more to a country fan base. And the one that I picked up first is the second album, and so that is Ann Wilson, Rebel. So I really do like this album. It's a great country album. And what I love about it, you know, sometimes for me, uh, I'm not always the biggest fan of the lyrics in country music or in hip hop music. And lyrics matter a lot to me. So, for instance, for me with country music, um, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of lyrics that debase women. And that happens sometimes in country music. And I'm not a huge drinker, although I can appreciate a drinking song. Um, yeah, but I don't hunt, I don't fish, I'm not into pickup trucks. So there's a lot of things about country that are just not my lifestyle. So I really appreciated this album because it has that Christian slant, so I can connect to it from that way as well as a really fun country album. I've really grown to love her music quite a bit, and I'm glad that I picked it up. So it's Orange Vinyl, Rebel by Ann Wilson. And then around, I don't remember what it was for, but there was a sale going on at SML XL Vinyl. And there was most of the albums that were for sale were stuff I didn't need, didn't want, but one of them was something I wanted, and that was Switchfoot New Way to Be Human. So I picked that one up. It's a single LP, black vinyl. Nothing especially special about this pressing, but it's got great songs on it. So this album has New Way to Be Human. It's got Only Hope, which you know if you watched A Walk to Remember. It's got Something More, which is Augustine's Confession, which I really appreciate. And then there's just some other songs that I do really like. This is an earlier album by Switchfoot, one of the albums that really like was a transition album for them, bringing them up into like the mainstream more. And I really appreciate it, so I grabbed it. Another album that I picked up this month was because I did not have a single album by this guy, and he's legendary. Well, okay, I take that back. I have two albums connected to this guy, but they're celebrating his 90th birthday, and while he does sing, it's really a lot of other artists singing his songs or singing their songs for him. But I needed his greatest hits, so I picked up Willie Nelson's greatest hits, double LP on this one. Again, every song on here is just phenomenal. If you're a Willie Nelson fan, which I definitely am, really a great album to pick up. This is, I believe, the newest greatest hits album. There's been a bunch over the years, but so this is a really complete one, a great one to pick up if you want to have a lot of his stuff. And I love Willie. I've never seen him live, and he's from, here in Texas, up in Fort Worth all the time. I need to fix that before Willie's no longer with us. I hope he's around for a lot longer. And then this album I picked up based off of one song, this is John Foreman. This is Departures. John Foreman's the lead singer of Switchfoot. If I'm being honest, I find that I like John Foreman's music often a little more than I like Switchfoot's. And I think part of that is just that I like the more stripped back vibe a little bit more. Although I do really like Switchfoot as well. But this album has a song that has come to mean a ton to me. Almost like an anthem for my life in a way. And that's Jesus, I Have My Doubts. And it's a great song for someone who's wrestling with their faith. And I feel like I've been wrestling with my faith for a long time and will be wrestling with my faith for a long time. And that's okay. It's a good and healthy thing to do. And so this song is one where it's like John really like expressing his doubts to God. Like, I don't always know if what I believe is true, and I don't know what to do with that. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. I think God's not scared of that. He's okay with it. So it's nice to be able to, say it out loud. So I picked this up. This is a double LP as well. Really fantastic. And it came autographed, which can't complain about that at all. And then one day we took our kids to Mardell, which is a Christian store We had a really good time there. We picked up our 2 kids, got their first study Bible, and we got their names printed on them, and got them a couple toys and stuff. And then what I got while we were there is Ann Wilson's first album, which is called My Jesus. And this is the one that was marketed more towards the Christian crowd. So it's even a little bit more overtly Christian than her new album, although both are pretty overtly Christian. The vinyl on this is brown vinyl. And this is a great album. And this album has a couple of really fun like features on it. I don't think the features are listed on the back though. But I know that there's a version. Oh yeah, there's a version that has Crowder of the song My Jesus. There it is. And there's a song called Mama featuring Hillary Scott. So that's a really fun one. She does great. She has great features. The other album has Lainey Wilson on a song, which, I mean, how can you be upset with Lainey Wilson and Ann Wilson on the same song? So anyway, Ann Wilson, My Jesus, really great album. Really glad to have it. Again, filling out some of that country vibe between Willie and Ann. It's nice to add some there. And the last album I got in May was a pre-order. John Foreman's newest album, In Bloom. Really loving this so far. The first track, which I believe is called In Bloom, has Joy, and I'm going to mispronounce her last name, and I'm so sorry, Alodicon, on it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Super glad to have this added to the collection as well. So the winners here, really the ones I got the most of this time, got 3 albums that got John Foreman on them and 2 with Ann Wilson. So those are some fun additions. That is my May haul. And what is that? I don't know how many that is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 albums. 10's a lot still. So definitely looking to scale back a little bit in June. I do still have a few on pre-order. Not as many, but a few more on pre-order. And, of course, there's always a couple I'll pick up. But definitely trying to slow that back a little bit. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Listen to the podcast. Got an episode coming up that I'm going to record tomorrow. It'll be out by Wednesday with the band Backyard Superheroes. Looking forward to that. And, I think there's some changes coming to the channel. I say that a lot. I think I get nervous about making changes, but it's time. So, anyway, I'll see you soon.